Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Erin's Book Club. So, work kind of kicked my butt today, and the heat of the day has also kicked my butt today, so I've been down and out trying to recover from, I think, of what is a little bit of heat stroke. While I was doing that, I was able to finish another book, and this one is kind of special. This is a book that I got on a recommendation for one of my favorite booktubers, Jesse the Reader. I'm sure everybody knows him. And this is a book that he said is his favorite, that he always recommends anybody who comes to his channel to read. So, the book review I have to do today is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by, I think it's Ransom Riggs? By Ransom Riggs. So this book has a lot of firsts for me. It's the first book by Ransom Riggs that I've ever read. It's the first book that I've read that has so many pictures in it. And it's the first book that I've read based solely on a YouTuber's opinion. And it kind of scared me because I got it for my birthday, which is April 7th. And I just read it now because I was nervous about what my opinion would be. Because A, I won't lie and say I love something if I don't. But B, I respect Jesse the Reader on many levels. I respect that he keeps his channel very clean. I respect that he keeps his channel very positive, that he supports everybody that he can support, but at the same time, he'll stand up for what he believes in no matter what anybody else says. I respect how honest he tends to be. I really enjoy his channel and the variety in his channel too. And it's strange because for me, my channel is all about... I kind of look at it like a reading journal for me. It's all about reviews and that kind of thing, because that's what I enjoy. And I know a lot of YouTube folks don't enjoy that, but for me that's fine because I'm doing this for me. Whereas Jesse does a wide variety of many different things in his channel, and all of it is very entertaining and enjoyable. So I gave his book a shot. And with it being as different as what I've ever read before, I have to say I was really impressed with it. I'm going to go first off with this cover. Like, this cover is amazing. And the book is full, absolutely full of different pictures throughout the entire book. And in the back of the book, there is a section on Conversation with Ransom Riggs, I think is what it's called. Yeah, a conversation with Ransom Riggs. Right? And it's basically talking about the book and the series, and he says that all of these pictures are actual real pictures that have been doctored very little, that have been found by photograph collectors, that he's looked through and taken and incorporated them into... Oops, sorry guys. And incorporated them into his book. So he changed his story around to work with whichever pictures he could grab, which I think is amazing, and it shows a huge skill in being able to create a story based on a genre or based on a prop, let's say, that you don't have complete control of. Really, really enjoyed that. I also have to say that I really enjoyed his writing. His writing was... It was interesting because I read through the book, totally enjoyed the book, thought, you know what, that's a really good book. And I went through it thinking, you know what, pretty superficial book, but really enjoyable, entertaining read. Then I got into thinking about it, and the things that he glossed over are actually pretty scary. Like, imagine coming home to see your grandfather in the process of dying. And again, spoilers will be in this video. None of my reviews are spoiler free because I like talking about the book. If you haven't read the book, read it and come back. On that note, imagine coming home to see your grandfather in the process of dying, of breathing his last. You're the last one to find him. You look over and you see this monster that you've never ever seen before, other than in your nightmares. And throughout that part of your life, you go to see specialists who tell you, yeah, you're crazy, but this is why, and we can help you through being crazy, only to find out by like going through the path of why you're crazy, that you aren't actually crazy, but the actual fact of the matter is almost worse. And when I first started reading about Miss Peregrine and the home that she was providing for the children, I thought, oh, that's very sweet. This is a headmistress taking care of a family. And then I got reading into it more, and it's a headmistress taking care of a family that never ages. So it's a headmistress taking care of children that technically are 80, 90 years old that don't age because they're still in a loop. So imagine for 80 or 90 years you're stuck in this geographical area, and it may be a blissful geographical area, but you can't leave, because if you leave you may die. In fact, you will die. But you can't go, like, it would be great, I think, for the first maybe 40 years, and then you would go absolutely stark raving mad, and you would be locked in with all these different personalities who could do multiple different things, like the entire Victor scenario. Now, Victor, who is dead, but because the loop is set in one day, the body doesn't decompose, and because you have a peculiar that can re-bring him back, he waits in this bedroom all by himself, not able to die, because he has to come back to have a conversation with his sister whenever they can get the wherewithal to do so. Like, what kind of existence is that? And the fact that Miss Peregrine hid that from, I think it's Jacob, who's the main character, shows that even Miss Peregrine knows that not everything she does is kosher, right? She isn't just this savior of the children. She is, in a way, a prison warden. I mean, if you think about it. And in the end, when they get kidnapped and they have to bring the birds back, but because the bird can't transform back and they have to find another loop, or else they'll die from the loop that they're in because people will find them, they're not running to freedom, they're running to another jail, because the other loop they won't be able to leave. It's such an interesting concept, because this didn't clue in until after I'd finished the book and was like, wow, this is really nice. We've got this protector and carving out a life for these people, and yeah, it's a good life, but it's a life that's hidden away from everybody else, that is based out of fear. It's an interesting concept, and maybe I'm looking too deep into it. Maybe I should just enjoy the fact that these guys are protected as much as they can be, and that their prison is pretty gosh darn amazing. But what an interesting dynamic, and to read about it, let it all go through, and then not really have it click in until after. Like, I went to work thinking about this book even though the book was done. The only other book that's ever done that for me, where I went to work thinking about the book when it was done, is the Book of Negroes, which I think the Book of Negroes will be my all-time favorite book. But this one is amazing, and I'm so happy that I bought the first 3 books in a box set, because I would hate to have to wait to get the next one. Ishmael, sorry, my cat likes to get into the, well, you'd know if you saw other videos. So, Jesse the Reader, if you ever do watch this, which you probably won't, I'm a small town YouTuber. If you ever do read this, I read one of yours, Ishmael. I read one of yours. I challenge you to read one of mine. There's 2 books that I want to recommend for you. The first one is any one of the Dragon Rider of Pern series, but I would start with the first book because it can be a complicated series. So the Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey. Any one of those. Or The Last Herald Mage by Mercedes Lackey. Those are 2 books that I really think you'll enjoy. They're hard books to read. They're not easy books to read. Like this one, they have kind of an underlying darkness to them, but I think you would enjoy them. However, I do want to thank you. This is a book that I really enjoyed, and I think this is an author that I'm going to really enjoy too. Definitely going to read the other two books. I'm very, very excited. So thank you all for listening to me while I tell you about the next book that I have read, and I will let you know when I have another book read.